godliness over greed, and faithfulness over fame. Paul reminds Timothy to live for what lasts in 1 Timothy chapter 6. In this chapter, Paul closes his letter with a strong call to live with eternal perspective. He addresses practical issues like work ethic, false teaching, materialism, and spiritual endurance. The chapter contrasts two ways of living: chasing worldly gain or pursuing godliness. Timothy is charged to flee from the traps of greed and fight the good fight of faith, keeping his eyes on Christ and the hope of eternal life. 1 Timothy chapter 6 verses 1 and 2. Paul begins by instructing believers, especially those under servitude, to show respect to their masters so that God's name and the gospel are not discredited. Even if their masters are fellow believers, they should still serve with excellence and honor. The principle applies broadly. Our work should reflect our faith. 1 Timothy chapter 6 verses 3 through 10. Paul warns about those who twist doctrine for personal gain. These individuals stir up envy, strife, and division, using religion as a means to profit. In contrast, Paul declares that godliness with contentment is great gain. He reminds Timothy that we brought nothing into the world and will take nothing out. The love of money, not the money itself, is a root of all kinds of evil, leading many to ruin. This section is a sobering call to examine motives and pursue spiritual wealth over material riches. 1 Timothy chapter 6 verses 11 through 16. Paul turns directly to Timothy with a passionate charge: flee from greed and pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, endurance, and gentleness. He's to fight the good fight of faith and hold tightly to eternal life. Paul reminds him of his public confession and points to Christ, who made a bold testimony before Pilate. He closes this section with a doxology, praising God as the sovereign King, immortal and invisible, dwelling in unapproachable light. 1 Timothy chapter 6 verses 17 through 19. Paul addresses those who are rich in this present age. They're not to be arrogant or trust in wealth, but to hope in God, who richly provides. They are called to be generous, ready to share, and to store up treasure for the coming age. True wealth is found in doing good and investing in eternity. 1 Timothy chapter 6 verses 20 and 21. Paul ends with a final exhortation. Timothy must guard what has been entrusted to him. He's to avoid godless chatter and contradictions from so-called knowledge, which have led some astray. The letter closes with a simple benediction: grace be with you. Hey, thank you for listening. Consider liking and following. I upload a chapter summary of the New Testament each weekday. And tomorrow we will start 2 Timothy.